Hi, welcome to Inge's Knitting Lab Along and this series on how to make the lacy cable tee. In this episode, I will show you how to pick up stitches here at the underarm so that you can finalize the sleeve. I will also in the end of the video show you how you pick up the stitches or work the first setup rounds here at the corners to avoid gaps here. In order for you to see what happens when you start wearing your tee, I show you here the end result that I'm looking at in a second. However, now I have both blocked and worn it a lot. So you can see that there will get some strain at the underarm. So the trick is to strengthen this point as best as you can to avoid gaps. So I usually do what I call the suspender method, which I also used in this one. However, in this video, I will give you what I think is an improved version where I do the loop method. So stay tuned for the end of the video and I will show you this trick, however, in another tee, a blue one. In this episode, I will tell you how to pick up stitches to finish the sleeve. And the reason why this may be interesting or even a bit tricky is because you do not necessarily pick up the same amount of stitches as you cast on the underarm. It depends on the size. And the different sizes also vary with regard to the number of stripes at the underarm. So some has only one, some have 3, and some have 5 stripes. So a general rule of thumb, if you need to skip stitches, the first place to do it is these purl stitches at the sides. Second, if you need to skip more stitches, you skip the stitches in between the stripes. If you need to skip even more stitches, you skip the middle stitch here at the cables. And if you need to skip even more, you also skip the middle stitch of the tree trunk stripes. So this will give you an even pickup and a nice look at both the body and the sleeve. Yeah, that is really all there is to it with regard to these sleeves. Otherwise we do as we usually do. Maybe one different thing for me is that I always start the pickup here, never at the center. And the reason being, again, the little details. Because when I need to make reductions of a sleeve in the sleeve and want them to be symmetrical, I don't want the round to start here because it gets even so slightly skewed. I know it's a very little detail, but you know me by now. I care about the finishing details. So I start the sleeve over here so that on the same round I will do the decrease on both sides at the center stitch here. Now let me show you how I pick up the stitches here at this size and how I do the loop method. But first of all, let me transfer the stitches onto my needle here from the barber cord and we will meet when I'm ready over here. Done. Now this size has 3 stripes at the underarm and the pattern calls for picking up 9 stitches. This means with the principles I just mentioned that I will skip all purl stitches and pick up 3, 3, 3. So 3 times 3 is 9 stitches. And you may wonder, well, if you skip this one, won't it look very odd here? No, it won't, and you could also see it on the green one, and we will look at the final result, of course, when we look at this one. So let me start. And you know, maybe you've seen my principle before, but when I pick up stitches at the underarm, I look for the A's, so in the opposite direction of the knitting direction. So for these cables here, it's a bit tricky, but I can see one here, one in the center, or maybe I just pick this one and here. So these are the ones I will do. And sometimes I use a crochet hook to help me because it is a bit tricky. But also these prim needles here with this small tip actually helps you when you pick up stitches. So like this. So for this one, I think I will use the crochet hook. Usually it's my experience that this one may tease me a bit, so it's easier to do it like this. There you go. Then I skip the purl and I have the A here. So 1A, 2A, and 3 A's. Skipping the purl and doing, I find the one that comes from over here, it's here with the A. The one in the center is, I can grab it here in the hole. I can also grab it here where I see, yeah, it doesn't matter that much. And here I grab it again with the crochet hook to help me. And here you go, I have 9 stitches. And as I talked about earlier, I start picking up here at the side and let my round start over here. Now being at the corner comes the trick, which I call the loop method. And I will show you why I've given it this name. But you see here, I have these rather loose stitches here. So instead of the suspender method, I now look at the back side. And I will identify the last edge stitches here at the row. So you see here, I have one loop here. I have one loop here and I have one loop here. So actually I have 3 loops, but I will catch 2 of them. And now I will catch those 2 which seem very loose. You see here, this one and this one. So I will catch the top of the knitted loop here and the top here. And now I will transfer those to my needle. And I do it just like this. So I have it here. So now I have picked up these loops from behind. And when you look at it here from the right side, it looks as if they come from behind, just as they actually do. And you will see that this raglan stripe coming from the front piece or the back piece will continue as an unbroken line down here on the body. So now I will knit the next stitch in line, and I will do it very tight, because even though I tighten this very much, it somehow gets a bit looser when I reach it on the second round again. So tighten, and then just knit on onto the other corner. So let's meet when I have reached the other corner and we can have a look at the loops over there, because yeah, they are in the other direction. I'm at the other corner now, and again we see these stitches here in between the stitches on rest and the newly picked up stitches. And here is where we want to close the gap and make a bridge, so to speak. So this is in the knitting direction. So now I turn it upside down, so we look in the opposite direction and we try to locate the loops that we want to pick up. So here we have a stitch. You see the top of this one, the top of this one, and the top of this one. So when this is a small curiosity maybe, but when we use the suspender method, we would pick up these 2 connecting strands here. So you would say that instead of doing this, we go a bit inwards to pick up the top of the knitted stitch here, this one and this one. So I just do like this as my helping needle, so that I can easily place it on the right hand needle here, like this. And again, just like on the other side, I will tighten as much as I can. And this is the first stitch with the tail, so I just keep track of the tail as well. It's a good thing I have more fingers. So now I knit very tight and I knit my way to the other corner so we can see what to do over here. So I have the last stitch of the lacy cable here and the first loop of the picked up loop here. So now we want to knit those together because we don't want the extra stitches. We want to reduce them again, and now we want them to look like this. So we SSK the first one and knit two together so that they will lean towards each other. So SSK here. Actually, this leans as it should already. So I just place this one back and SSK. And now I have the other one, knit two together like this. And let's have a look at the end result once I have knitted a couple of rounds, because then it's much easier. But I will just work my way to the other corner and let's do the same thing over there. I'm now at the other corner and I will do the stitches just the same way. So I SSK this one. I see that this loop is sitting just as it should. So I will just knit those in the back loop, knit together. I grab the tail here, running loose on the other side. I have the other loop here and the first picked up stitch here, and I knit those together like this. So let me work 2 or 3 rounds here and we will meet to have a look at the result. Let's look at the final result here. If you had your doubts and was afraid that we could skip these purl stitches here in the corners or in between for that matter, you can see here that the stitches, they are placed very nicely here and we have no gaps at the corners. And with this method, the loop method, I haven't found the need to do any more enforcement on the sleeve before wearing or after I've worn it for some time. It simply does the work. And well, if you were a bit confused about decreases at the sleeve, I mentioned decreasing around the center stitch here. At this summer edition, we do not make any decreases of stitches here until we reach the final I-cord edge here. But as you can see, picking up fewer stitches at the underarm that we actually cast on will give you this decrease of the sleeve here, which we need at the underarm to reduce the excess fabric, but still keep a bit of a puffy sleeve, even though this one is not with a puffed sleeve. So yeah, that was all for now in this episode. So have fun with your sleeves, and I hope it works out fine for you. If you have any questions or doubts or comments, then please leave them below or send me an email and I will get back to you. Bye bye from Inge's Knitting Lab. Bye bye.